Why do more units lead to muscle fatigue? Imagine trying to hold a heavy box for a long time. At first, your muscles work smoothly, but eventually, they start to feel tired and weak. That's because of what happens inside your muscles and nerves. When your muscles contract, they do so because motor units send signals from your brain and spinal cord. A motor unit is made up of one motor neuron and all the muscle fibers it controls. As you keep lifting or holding, more motor units are recruited to keep up with the effort. The signals from the motor neurons increase in frequency to produce more force. But during prolonged activity, several things happen that cause the muscles to tire out. First, the firing rate of the motor neurons begins to slow down. This happens because the motor neurons become less excitable over time. They receive less excitatory input from the brain and more inhibitory signals from sensory receptors in the muscle. These sensory receptors, called group 3 and for afferents, send feedback that tells the nervous system to protect the muscle from damage. As a result, fewer signals reach the muscle fibers, making the muscle produce less force. Second, the muscle fibers themselves undergo metabolic changes. When muscles contract repeatedly, they produce waste products like hydrogen ions, inorganic phosphate, and reactive oxygen species. These substances interfere with the normal process of muscle contraction. They slow down the cross-bridge cycling, which is how muscle fibers generate force by sliding filaments past each other. This metabolic buildup makes it harder for the muscle fibers to contract effectively. Third, different types of muscle fibers fatigue at different rates. Fast-twitch fibers, which generate quick and powerful movements, tend to tire faster. Slow-twitch fibers, which are more endurance-oriented, resist fatigue longer. As fast-twitch fibers become less effective, the nervous system tries to compensate by recruiting more slow-twitch fibers or increasing the firing rate of the remaining active units. But this compensation has its limits, and eventually, the muscle cannot maintain the same level of force. Finally, feedback from sensory receptors also influences fatigue by controlling blood flow and oxygen delivery. When muscles work hard, blood flow increases to supply oxygen and remove waste. However, if fatigue sets in, the nervous system may reduce motor neuron activity to prevent excessive strain, which can slow down oxygen delivery and make fatigue worse. In summary, motor units lead to muscle fatigue because the motor neurons reduce their firing rates due to neural and sensory feedback. Meanwhile, the muscle fibers experience metabolic disruptions that impair their ability to contract. This combination causes a gradual decline in muscle strength during sustained activity. Understanding this process helps us see how the muscular system controls movement and responds to prolonged exertion, which is useful in exercise, rehabilitation, and everyday activities.